Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw News Brief. We're going to try to keep this one brief today. Before we get started, tonight, our Rampage live watch along, followed by a recap of Smackdown and Rampage. Should be a lot of fun. And of course, tomorrow, it's Triple Mania Day. Time to celebrate. And we're going to do so by joining Kayla and Alex from the Church of Joshi for the very first Church of Friendos live stream at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. I believe Triple Mania starts at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. Yes. I'm pretty sure that's the deal. We'll have the link available for people to watch along with us. It's going to be a second screen thing, so be sure to check it out. Should be a lot of fun. We're going to drop some Church of Friendos merch on you guys, so that should be a lot of fun. Before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button. That'd be much appreciated by Steven Larson. Speaking of Larson, what's in the news, Larson?
Oh, in the news. Okay, wow. So in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer has some more details about the shocking NXT releases that happened a week ago today and what led to them. So this is the scenario, the scene Meltzer paints.
Yeah.
He describes a power struggle within WWE where there's a couple competing factions. You got those who fear for their status and position in the company should Triple H, kind of as expected, succeed Vince as the CEO, head booker of WWE. It's probably more he'd probably be handling the creative aspect.
Yeah, it seemed to set up the idea that Nick Khan would be handling the business end of things,
business side,
seemingly already is, and Triple H would be in charge of what wrestling is going to look like in WWE.
Exactly. And so, of course, the other faction who would be those who are Team Hunter. So Meltzer notes that while Triple H was once thought untouchable within Titan Towers, those who were looking to knock him down a peg found some ammunition after NXT lost the Wednesday Night Wars. As Meltzer puts it, quote, the idea is he was in control and in a fight, and his vision for the product failed to attract younger viewers, adding that NXT ended up being, quote, the oldest skewing wrestling show among the major national shows, which I remember that kind of playing out in the demos. And I could never really wrap my head around why that would be.
Meltzer does attribute it to, he believes that it's simply because of AEW, that basically they took the younger audience for that period of time. I'm not sure what the, has NXT's demo skewed younger since it's been on Tuesdays?
That's what I was going to ask. I think since it's on Tuesdays, they would recoup some of the younger viewers they lost. But if that hasn't happened, that would be interesting. Anyways, Meltzer sources noted, quote, how toxic the situation became because it was more of a power grab and people looking out for their own futures and considering the talent as pawns in this deal. Meltzer adds that while NXT was founded to serve as developmental promotion for WWE, ended up largely being filled with smaller wrestlers, at least in Vince's eyes, smaller wrestlers, say maybe below 6 feet tall, from the independent ranks who Vince didn't believe could eventually become main roster stars. And apparently that change in attitude, or that attitude now, led to last week's releases and the apparent shift towards signing larger talent going forward. Meltzer points out that Vince, quote, decided against Bronson Reed after his tryout match, and that McMahon felt that, quote, if he's not going to be on the main roster, what is the point of keeping him? And that was the rationale that was apparently applied when deciding the rest of last week's releases. Meltzer also mentions that this behind-the-scenes toxicity was to blame for the lackluster main roster debut of Karrion Kross, who has lost twice thus far on main while being the undefeated NXT champ, as well as Dakota Kai, who is set to challenge Raquel Gonzalez for the women's title at TakeOver 36. She took an L to Aaliyah on main event. And once again, Meltzer reiterates that neither Triple H nor Shawn Michaels were consulted prior to the releases, and adds that, quote, they weren't even aware of them until after Laurinaitis started calling the talent.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. It's you've often referenced the show Succession when talking about this, and this sort of lends even more to that idea. It seems like Vince McMahon is just sort of sitting back and letting these factions play out, and he does things. I wonder. You have to wonder if I always felt that to a degree. After the initial promotional push, which is when we saw NXT have a really strong showing at Survivor Series, I feel that NXT was a bit on the handcuffed side. You had things like Charlotte Flair challenging Rhea Ripley for the NXT title and then winning it and basically big leaguing NXT. Like, they didn't have anybody from NXT pin Charlotte to get that title back in the promotion properly. I feel like there was all sorts of ways that NXT, and you have to wonder if any of that was from this sort of anti-Triple H faction that are concerned for their jobs once Vince is gone. I mean, you got to look at guys like Bruce Pritchard, and people of his ilk, you would think, as guys who might be concerned for their jobs once Triple H is in power, if that's the situation. You also have to wonder if Triple H being in power after Vince is gone is still part of the plan, or if there even is a plan. I mean,
is a plan at this point. Yeah.
I mean, dude, I don't even know. I mean, I understand that, as a couple of years ago when Triple H did his global localization thing, that was obviously, a look at, what they had probably wanted for the future, and Vince seemed to go along with it. And at that point, between, keeping talent from AEW and stockpiling for a global plan, that's obviously the reason why they started stockpiling talent. Meltzer lays a lot of that at the feet of Triple H in this write-up here. And so when you talk about WWE hoarding talent, you can't just point at Vince. Seemingly it was a Triple H thing as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's a sad state of affairs. Who knows how this is all going to play out? I'm pessimistic that Vince, I think one of two things is going to happen. Either Vince is going to hold on for a very long time. I mentioned this quite a bit. If I'm not mistaken, his mom is still alive, and she's like 100 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Vince McMahon is in ridiculously good shape. You might consider his version of wrestling to be outdated. I kind of do. But
Same.
Given that it's procured him billions of dollars, it's hard to think that he's going to step away from that. At least on the creative end, it seems like he's letting Nick Khan do whatever he wants on the business end of things. Either they're going to sell the company when the next round of TV deals comes up in 3 years, or Vince McMahon, or they're not, and Vince McMahon's just going to stay. I just don't know if he's ever going to step down from that aspect of things,
Well, no, I think, as long as we've been doing this show, we've always kind of assumed the situation would be is that Vince, we didn't necessarily see an instance where Vince would willingly step down.
Yeah.
Either his health would because of health reasons, he'd have to step down.
Yeah.
Or, something would happen.
Yeah.
On the business side of things where he's essentially forced out, but no instance I could foresee where he would just all right, I'm done.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't see it happen. He's a notorious workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't sleep. He seems to have one interest in life, and that's WWE. Well, lifting weights in WWE.
Lifting weights, AC/DC.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, he's a huge AC/DC fan.
Yeah. Well, I think the one song,
yeah. So it's interesting. I guess they look at NXT as what it became, not developmental anymore, but essentially WWE's version of independent wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then saw that lost out to AEW, which was, if you split essentially PWG in half, at NXT on one side, and then you get AEW on the other.
Yeah,
AEW won that battle.
Yeah, they did. It's combining the best aspects of late 90s WCW and PWG and New Japan. And they have made that formula work for them. Whether you like it or not, whether you appreciate what they're doing or not, it's working for them.
It is working. It is working for them.
And
we get this last point in real quick. And so I guess in Vince's mind, if he's not getting the talent that he wants from NXT, attractions.
Yeah.
Guys over 6 feet tall, probably really muscular characters.
Yeah.
Which at NXT, that's not exactly what they're producing these days,
It's interesting because, in some of your criticism of NXT, and I haven't necessarily disagreed, but, the idea of, people really aren't characters there. They're stretches of times when it just feels like everybody just wants to be a badass there. Like that's their general character.
Yeah.
And in this write-up, Meltzer says, Vince McMahon wants characters. He wants people that, he can market as characters.
Yeah.
And I actually understand that,
I do.
I get that.
I do, because there are times in NXT where you go through an hour or even the whole 2 hour of the programming, and you get variations on pretty much the same character, which is badass who likes to fight,
Yeah.
And it seemed like the last, year maybe, we've seen a few more over-the-top characters. Cameron Grimes is the over-the-top character.
Yeah, sure.
LA Knight kind of is, too.
Yeah.
We've seen Gargano, once the way started, he became a bit over the top.
Yeah.
So they've been incorporating more over the top characters seemingly the last year maybe.
Yeah.
But prior to that, it just seemed like by and large, like more than half the roster, their character was just badass.
And I wonder if the thing that Meltzer said about the memo going out saying, "Hey, no more short guys." I wonder if they just sort of shot themselves in the foot by pushing the Undisputed Era so hard, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and that sort of became calling them short people seemed to be the euphemism for, hey, enough of this like Ring of Honor stuff, And I don't necessarily think that Vince McMahon needs somebody to be a big jack dude. I think he wants characters like Riddle, and I know Reggie wasn't in NXT, but I think Vince obviously loves Reggie. He seems to love Boogs, and I know Boogs is a jack guy, but he's clearly a lot more charismatic than just big jack dude. I think that sort of comes along with the territory. I think it's, like what Shane has said, Vince told him, I don't think Vince wants, hey, let's put on 4.5-star matches for 30 minutes every single week, because we can do that whenever. They have wrestlers that can do that. I mean, hell, Randy Orton and Edge proved that, and those guys can do that. Sheamus can do that. Any number of those guys can do that. And I'm not saying that, Vince McMahon is totally right here, but I do because I think that Raw's problems don't have anything to do with that. I don't think it's because they're not getting the characters right. I think it's because they don't know how to tell stories right. And I think that's the biggest problem is they have endless rematches. They don't know how to build stories.
Yeah, they don't know how to build stories, and it seems fairly often that on Raw especially, they don't know who their characters are on Raw, you know? Or it seems like within the course of one show, a wrestler will do one thing, and then by the end of the show, they completely contradict what they did earlier in the night, know?
Yeah.
Seemingly just because they want to hit some particular story beat to propel that story forward, such as it exists. But yeah, it definitely seems like Vince has fallen back onto his old habits, what has worked for him historically in terms of building his company, making money. Now, will we see an improvement WB product? Debatable. Again, if they can't cure what ails their creative, then no. You can have an entire roster of guys that are 6'6", 280 pounds of pure muscle. If the stories are no good, no one's going to really care.
Well, you can have compelling characters, and if the stories aren't good, nobody's going to care. And if his thing is, hey, none of these characters are particularly compelling, then it's not going to matter if they don't know how to build stories. If they just do rematch after rematch after rematch. I mean, it gives me, I don't know, whether or not I kind of doubt that we're going to get just a whole bunch of Luther Reigns and Heidenreichs. I kind of don't feel like that's going to be the case. I just feel like we're going to see less of what's become sort of the takeover thing. I mean, if you look at the good era of NXT anyways, you had, Aleister Black's totally a character. Velveteen Dream was a character. Like they had characters, and I just think that they had their opportunity, and whether or not Triple H was sort of, if he was undermined, if he was undermined by any elements in WWE, he had his chance, hey, you got to swim with sharks, right? Isn't that what they always say?
Yeah.
You got to figure that stuff out. So so they had their chance and they blew it.
And I wonder how things would have fared if a lot of the NXT call-ups had been handled correctly, creatively, when they got called up.
Yeah.
If they hadn't stuck Aleister Black in a room for a year and actually developed him as a character, let him go out there and do what he does best, which is do great character work and put on awesome matches.
Yeah.
If they allowed him to do that from the very beginning, would Vince's idea of NXT's development process have changed? Because there's obviously examples of people who come from NXT up to the main roster and been massive successes. Like Kevin Owens, Finn, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, the Four Horsewomen. You could go on to list the successes, and but if I wonder if it's in Vince's eyes, the failures, for lack of a better term, left more of an impression in terms of his view of NXT as opposed to the successes. I don't know.
I wonder if, when those call-ups are going down, if Vince just didn't know what to do. He was like, okay, so this guy's brooding. He's got tattoos. What do I do with him? If there's not that hook. I mean, if you look at the Four Horsewomen, I kind of feel, I don't know, it's maybe a video for another day because it's supposed to be news brief, but I wonder how much of that Vince sort of was like, okay, well, I brought these people up and they didn't find the success that I consider success until I did something with them, which a case could be made with that. When Charlotte came up, was she the Charlotte that we know today? I mean, Becky, obviously huge star, and they stumbled into that. Well, they tried to turn her heel. And
even when they brought up Charlotte and Becky and Sasha, it was within the factions, and it was kind of clumsy.
It was really clumsy. They had really weird names to the factions. Yeah.
I kept changing.
Yeah.
I had to keep changing the names.
I mean, I wonder, when Triple H is like, hey, here's my 4 best guys, 2 of which are, by the way, in the Blood Feud, so you probably shouldn't put them in a tag team, and he did anyways. Vince probably looked at the guys, okay, well, what's the hook? What are people, when somebody looks at somebody, shouldn't they automatically understand who and what they are, I mean, that's maybe why he got Bobby Roode wrong. It's interesting to look at all this stuff in hindsight. Like I said, maybe make for a video another day. Let's talk about this really quick. Update on the King. Is this the King of the Ring?
Yeah, King of the Ring.
Wow. Okay, so we'd heard about Queen of the Ring going down. Andrew Zarian reported via Twitter that the King of the Ring tournament is going to take place in October. The finals will also take place in Saudi Arabia, along with the finals for the Queen of the Ring. So maybe these will be taking place parallel to each other?
Yeah, seemingly. Seemingly.
Concurrently?
What was it was Crown Jewel. Wasn't that one of the ongoing Saudi Arabia shows?
Crown Jewel. Yeah.
So it would make sense if you're going to crown a new king and queen of the ring, have it take place at Crown Jewel.
Chase Owens, the new king of the ring. Ric Flair, let's talk about him really quick. In news that this is not very shocking. Wrestling Observer is reporting that it seems to be a lock that Ric Flair, baby, is headed to AEW. Flair received his release from WWE on August 3rd, so maybe we'll see him at Full Gear, baby.
Yeah, that's about 90 days after. Woo. So assuming he's got a 90-day no-compete with his deal, it's possible. What should Flair do in AEW?
Start a new Four Horsemen.
Okay.
I know Arn owns it. Oh, Hobbs. And 3 other guys.
Okay.
I don't know. Get Ricky Starks out of Team Taz. Ricky Starks could be the new Rick. He could be the new Ric Flair. Okay. So Wardlow breaks away. So Wardlow gets to be Sid. Hobbs gets to be Barry Windham. Ricky Starks is Ric Flair. They just dissolve Team Taz. And then you need like a
and then Hook is the Arn Anderson.
They just redo Team Taz. Yeah,
they just ditch Taz pretty much.
Exactly. Taz goes on to his DJing career.
There you go.
All right, man, this is exciting. Resurgence, Los Angeles tomorrow. Tomorrow's a stack day. It's a stack day.
A lot of wrestling.
This is on the line. IWGP title is on the line, and then next week, Emergence. The Impact title is going to be on the line.
Yeah.
But this week, IWG Pete is on the line.
Yes. What's the name for the Impact title? Do you have a pun-filled name? Impact.
Yeah, Impact. That's good. I like that. All right. So what are there? 7? Are there 7 matches on this card?
7. That's correct. Yes, 7.
All right.
Opening bout is Alex Coughlin versus Carl Fredericks. This is on New Japan site. This is something called the Alex Coughlin Invitational or Open Challenge or something like that. So I don't know if he's doing open challenges on Strong.
Oh, is that his thing? Okay. All right. Who do you got in this match?
I mean, it's Alex Coughlin's thing.
Yeah.
So I got him winning. I got 2 confidence points, and Forster has Coughlin with 1.
All right. I'm going to go Fredericks with 3.
Wow.
Here's the thing. I look at both their pro fight DBs, and Coughlin never wins. He never wins. Fredericks does win, and they're building him to have a match with Lawler for the strong title.
Yeah.
So my inside source there, this is Karen, who watches Strong, says that they are sort of building Coughlin to be like he loses a lot, but he might be actually getting his first win.
Yeah.
And Fredericks would be a strong win for him, or it'd be a first good win. But given their records, and apparently they're building Fredericks for Lawler, I'm going to go with Fredericks on this one.
That probably seems like a sound decision. I didn't do any research of this.
It's not going to matter. New Japan's crazy. They're crazy. They do crazy shit.
Next, we got a 6-man tag match. Rocky Romero, Fred Rosser, Wheeler Yuta taking on Ren Narita, Clark Connors, and TJP. Steve, who do you have?
I got Team Romero. I don't know why I keep on betting on this guy, but I mean, they book him and Rosser pretty strong, and they obviously like Wheeler Yuta, who doesn't. So I have 1 confidence point on this because the other team does have TJP, and maybe Rosser's team is winning so much and they're set to take a loss because I think they're bad guys. I think. So I only have 1 confidence point. I'm not entirely sure about this one.
All right, I'm going Team Romero. Okay. That's Rocky. Yeah. Fred Rosser, Wheeler Yuta. I got 4 confidence points.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. That's probably.
I mean, the other team has 2 young lions.
Yeah, I know.
You know, former young lions.
Yeah.
And then TJP. So it just seems like Team Rocky's going to win.
Right. Seems pretty obvious.
Enforcer has Rocky.
Yeah.
Fred Rosser and Wheeler Yuta as well. 2 confidence points. Next, we got a tag match. We got the Good Brothers taking on.
Devil Legs.
Wait for you to do that. John Moxley and a mystery partner.
Ooh, is it going to be Kingston? Who's it going to be?
That would seem to make sense, but they would have announced it at Kingston, I would think.
Yeah, you would have thought that. It's not. I don't think it could be. It's not going to be. Somebody said there was a reason why it wasn't going to be Shada.
Oh, because he's in the United Kingdom.
Yeah. Okay. Is that just the reason why he can't get on a plane?
Well, I think there's travel restrictions.
Probably. Okay. Yeah. Probably. Things are messed up right now. I got Team Mox with 6 confidence points.
Yeah, you agree with Enforcer there. I got Mox and mystery partner with 5.
Yeah, I mean it's Mox.
Yeah, totally gonna
good. And Carl Anderson's gonna eat the pin. By the way, he's gonna eat a Death Rider, and that's gonna be it.
But of course,
yeah.
But of course, next we got this is a huge match in terms of the number of people in it. Leo Rush, Brody King, Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson, Fred. How do you pronounce his last name?
Yay, hi.
That's right. And then Umura taking on Tom Lawler, J.R. Kratos, Daniel Limelight, Jarrell Nelson, and Royce Isaac. Steve, who do you got?
Dude, never bet against Tom Lawler, never bet against J.R. Kratos. 2 confidence points on Team Lawler. Leo Rush is about to... No, I think he unretired. So this is my only math on this. I think there's a strong...
You said 2?
2, yeah.
2 confidence points.
There's a strong episode tonight.
Yeah.
And... on last week's episode of Strong, to build for this, Kratos and Limelight beat Nelson and Isaacs. So I feel like tonight the reverse is going to happen. So the go-home math is going to be on Team Leo Rush's favor, which means
all sorts of research.
Lawler's team is going to win. So I got Team Lawler here with 2 confidence points.
All right, I'm going the other way.
Okay.
I got Leo Rush, Brody King. Going just with 1 confidence point, though.
Yeah,
just 1.
This is a tough one. I don't know what to figure out. But Lawler's a strong champion, so, like, I don't see him losing. The Kratos is a big dude. Remember that time we heard the loudest chop in history?
Ever.
Against some dude in Supreme Pro Wrestling?
It wasn't some dude. It was Aaron Sky. Enforcer's agreeing with you. He's got 3 confidence points on Team Lawler.
All right.
Next, Tomohiro Ishii taking on Moose.
Moose
is totally winning this.
Oh, my God. You're so wrong. How many confidence points do you have?
I got 6 on Moose.
Oh, my God. No, man. It's another Saban situation. Listen, dude. No. Listen to me. Listen. No. They're in Los Angeles celebrating New Japan. Ishii's a massive face. Moose is a heel. Ishii's totally going to win because Impact is still trying to get that goodwill from New Japan. As we've seen with Moose, He can eat a loss. He ate a loss to Chris Sabin. Of course, Moose is going to lose.
The story of this is they faced off 5 years ago, and Moose took the L then. He's taking the dub. He's getting that W tomorrow.
All right. I love it. How
many you got in Ishii?
4.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That is a lot.
It is a lot.
Enforcer's got Moose as well, 5 confidence points. I got Moose with 6. Moose is totally winning that match.
All right. We shall see.
This seems like this should be the lock of the night. Knife Pervert, Jay White.
Yeah.
Defending the never openweight title against David Finlay. I got the Knife Pervert, 7 confidence points.
I've got the Knife Pervert too, man. But as I saw it, are we going to recap Impact? You want me to recap Impact? Oh, I didn't write any notes.
Did you actually watch?
Yeah, I watched Impact last night. Knife Pervert totally stood tall on Finlay. Totally.
Don't think it matters.
But Finlay also apparently wants out of New Japan. He has said a couple times now in interviews that he wants to go to NXT. And he's tired of like all the travel stuff. So, but no, I got White. I got the Knife Pervert with 5 confidence points.
5.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you got a lot of points in this main event. Then
I got all my confidence points on this main event, baby. Go Ace.
Yeah, go Ace.
It's go. It's Tanahashi.
It's going to be Tanahashi because Mox is going to challenge him after the match for that U.S. title.
Yep. And
that's going to be the match at All Out between them.
Oh, you think you're going to do that All Out? That's interesting.
They could.
That'd be rad. That'd be awesome, huh? Boy, that'd be.
You got 7 on Tanahashi.
Show. All Out's looking more like All In, huh? With like all these like new faces and
Forbidden Door,
AEW faces.
Forbidden Door. So you got Tanahashi 7. I got Tanahashi with 3. Enforcer's got Tanahashi with 4.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I love it. I love it because there's a lot of. Let's see here. You and. Okay, yeah, there's a few things. You and Enforcer only differ on one thing. But me and you guys differ on a few things here.
You actually did some research. Usually I do my research on when I make my New Japan pick.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't know if research is really going to help me all that much, man. Like, what the heck?
That's true, because the last 2 times I did research, and I just barely beat you, and then the Enforcer actually got the most points the last 2 times we did picks on a New Japan show. So
I know.
So what's the major thing coming out of Impact was Brian Myers winning that Battle Royal. He's new number 1 contender. He gets a match against Kenny at Emergence, the 20th, right?
You got that right. Yeah, it was a wildly fun Battle Royal. It was awesome. He sort of just won because other people were not focusing on him too much. Everybody number 1, never bet on big men for Battle Royal because everybody took out Morrissey. It literally took like the entire crowd to all like work together to take out Morrissey. And then I think it was like Callahan and like Moose, I think, ended up on the apron or something like that. And then Myers like ended up, lucking into kicking him out or something like that. So yeah, the most professional wrestler goes over to face to be new number 1 contender there for Christian or Kenny Omega.
Considering I think the Brian Myers Kenny match, it's probably already been taped.
You think that's
because Emergence is not a live show; it's an Impact Plus
possibility,
show. So yes, it's been taped already. Guessing we haven't heard any spoilers to the regard of Christian challenging for that title. So
yeah, that's a good point. I have no idea. Maybe they're going to do a taping in between tonight and
the next taping is 15th to 17th, I think.
Oh,
well, so I guess it's a possibility.
That makes sense.
A possibility.
Because we would have heard spoilers. We definitely would have heard spoilers. There were 2 talkie segments with Callis and Kenny. They had like a little thing. It was pretty funny. And then Christian really talked up his experience in TNA. Said, that's the place that saw me as a main eventer. I was able to compete for titles, and I couldn't do that anywhere else. WWE. And he'd be proud to come back as champion and defend it there. So I don't know what's going to go down on Rampage. I kind of doubt, but they could build a lot of buzz just in general for an Impact title changing hands is the very first thing to happen on Rampage. I kind of doubt it's going to happen, but Meltzer's also said that there's a chance that Kenny could lose that title to Andrade. Like a lot of people backstage at AAA think that's going to happen. But then Meltzer says he finds it difficult to believe that Tony Khan would let that happen. But I also kind of feel it's difficult to believe Tony Khan has any say over what happens in AAA. So I don't know. There could be some stuff afoot. Maybe not.
maybe the dominoes start to fall in case there's losing these belts, culminating, I guess, maybe in Paige taking it off him, maybe at the New York show.
Yeah, that could be. We also had Tennille Dashwood beating Taylor Wilde thanks to some help from the returning Madison Rayne. I think they're setting up a match at Empower, maybe for Madison Rayne and Taylor Wilde, or Tennille Dashwood. I don't know. Dashwood, yeah, at the end of the match, Tennille and Madison Rayne embraced, so they had an alliance going. So maybe there's going to be a tag match at Empower. I don't know what's going to happen. Josh Alexander beat Daivari. After the match, Jake Something laid his claim for a challenge for the X Division title. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen in Emergence or not, but it probably will.
Yes, I think it's announced.
They set up Kimberly and Sue Young against not Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz. And she's got a new heater, Savannah something or another.
Yeah.
Who was it? Savannah
Evans.
Evans, thank you. Yeah. I'm just looking at WrestleZone's recap here. Chris Bay and Jay White beat FinJuice with shenanigans. No, I'm sorry, it was a DQ. That's right, it was DQ loss to FinJuice because Knife Pervert got a chair out and started beating the crap out of like Finley or something when he had Chris Bay in a submission. And yeah, he totally beat the shit out of Finley afterwards. Stood tall there. Also, Kayla from Church of Friendos, Church of Joshi, showed up. I think she's joining Bullet Club. Let's see here. We had, we got a new linear GCW heavyweight champion because John Skyler beat Matt Cardona.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks to some distractions from Mob Ali Shera and Rohit. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. John Skyler picking up a shocking win here in Impact Wrestling. And then we already talked about the Battle Royal. Brian Myers won that. So there you go. There's your Impact results.
There we go. We got 2 shows tonight. Of course, Rampage. We're doing a live reaction stream to that over on our Twitch starting at 7 p.m. Pacific.
Yep.
And of course, we'll be watching just on our own Smackdown before that.
Yeah.
Here's your Rampage preview, of course, for the Impact title. Kenny Omega taking on the Hall of Famer, Christian Cage.
Christian, at last.
You're on. Can't sing high anymore. You got Miro defending the TNT title against Fuego del Sol.
Nice.
And then the main event, Britt Baker versus Red Velvet for the AEW Women's Championship.
It'll be a hot match in front of a hot crowd. We also got Smackdown in front of a crowd manipulated by WWE's best audio department. Roman Reigns will come face-to-face with John Cena. That should actually be really good.
I hope so.
Get them both on the mic. That should be good.
I hope so. John Cena's trash talk has been pretty tepid thus far.
Hasn't been all that great. Be honest with you. Hasn't been great. Got an Intercontinental Championship match. King Nakamura is going to challenge Apollo Crews. Probably going to end with Commander Aziz doing something, right?
Likely. Seems likely.
Yep.
And then Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks take part in SmackDown Women's title contract signing.
Ooh, wonder if anybody's going to go through a table. Who knows? Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Till next time. We'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.